Is this a true story? A shy blue light led to the ghost of a lost girl seeking her mom. With kind words, Bobby helped her cross over. Strange things started happening after my friends, Chloe and Isaac, and I saw some ghost photos. We're seeing ghosts now. Here's the full story. We saw some photos of ghosts while looking at a bunch of websites. Shadow, Chloe's dog, started acting uneasy, so we decided to investigate. While we were outside, I looked at a small pink birdhouse by the door and saw a little blue light shift as if hiding. Shortly after, Isaac felt cold. We began to look upstairs, and I saw the little blue light again. It appeared shy. When we went back outside, Isaac's watch, which can detect abnormal, perhaps paranormal vibrations, began to beep really fast when it was near my small purse. Ghosts. Chloe had me try and communicate with the ghost. The following scene is the result. A little girl, not much older than my 5-year-old neighbor, was crying a cry for help. No one answered. The scene disappeared, and the little girl saw me. She said, "Help me. Mama, dead." I told them this. They thought it was sad. I still think it's sad as I write this. She said, "Help. Her mama is dead. Her mama's in heaven." The little girl is a lost ghost. She wants to be with her mother. The rest is unexplained. Please take to mind the girl, the uneasy dog, and the little shy light. I told the girl that her family was with her and that she needs to just join them by heading into the light. She smiled, then said, "Thanks. Bye. I have not seen her since." Native American haunting. An eerie spirit named Victor haunted their home, turning on lights and appearing at night. We had a house built in Castle Rock, Colorado in 2001. As soon as we moved into it, things started to happen. The lights turned on and off. The stereo would inexplicably go on and blare full blast. My daughter, Nicole, saw an Indian man sitting at the end of her bed. He would sit there and look into her closet. My youngest daughter, Jade, called him Victor. I asked her why she called him that, but she would never give me a reason. The spirit scared the daylights out of my husband one night when he was alone in the house. The lights kept turning on, and my husband would turn them off, but they would turn right back on. Wes, my husband, got so scared that he ran into the bedroom, slammed the door, got under the bed covers, and stayed there all night. I am an RN nurse and have witnessed people many times having visions before they pass away. I wrote a book, Seeing Angels and Other Visions, with this story included, as well as other true stories of people I know who see angels, have visions, or have had near-death experiences. All true stories. Melanie's haunting. A ghost who claimed he hanged himself appeared to an entire family, each seeing him on the same eerie night. They all saw the same ghost haunting them. I met a ghost once, long, long ago, when I was the age of 14, still in high school. We dwelled in an old home that was standing since the early 1940s. I always felt a presence near me, and so did my grandma, while she was around at the time. I was in my bedroom one eerie night as it was lightning outside. I recall this night very well. There was no moon outside that I could see, and there was a faint sound that came from the apartment upstairs. I swore I heard crying and then a loud, ghastly sound. There was breathing around me, and I felt a rush of air all over my torso. And then I noticed this image, what appeared as one, man in spirit, come to me and tell me he had hung himself. He was a handsome ghost who asked me if he could lay next to me and sleep there until he felt at peace. I had to decline and said, "No, please go away." I wanted to shout out loud, but the words would not come out of me. I was nearly scared to death. Then, my grandmother walked into my bedroom and asked me if I had seen a ghost. Apparently, she had seen the ghostly man too. She stayed with me that night after I told her how frightened I was. The next morning, my uncle was reading his paper and said someone or something tore his newspaper into pieces. He fled down the stairs to ask me if I had seen the ghost, like he did. My uncle nearly had a heart attack over the experience. He was fine later on, but petrified beyond all reason or thinking at the time. This has been a true story. Haunted house. A haunted house, ghost sightings, and gravestones hidden beneath a tree. No wonder they moved out. A few years ago, before I moved, the house I lived in was very haunted. My whole family has had experiences, but mine was special to me. I was sleeping, and it was probably around 1 a.m. when I had a dream about one of my younger sisters. I dreamt that she would come into my room and ask to sleep in my bed. Well, wouldn't you know she did? Everything was as I had dreamed, except for one thing. When I woke up and looked at her, a young boy was standing right behind her. My mother said it was probably the cat, who has a black bushy tail, but it couldn't have been because I could see all of his features very clearly. He was black and white and see-through. He looked at me, a quick glance, and ran to my open bedroom door and vanished. He sort of faded out as he reached the light of the doorway. That was around the time we moved in. My second story is actually a compilation of things I have seen and things my family has experienced. From me, I have this. My family and I had just gotten back from the grocery store, and I ran inside the house. My kitchen was in the back of the house, attached to the dining room. On one side of the room is the cellar door. This door was a heavy one that could not open easily. So I walked into the room, and all of a sudden, the door flew open and then shut with a bang that was heard throughout the house and outside. I haven't been comfortable with going in a cellar ever since. Another account of this house was that my mother saw a lady standing in the washing machine. When my mom turned around, no one was there. My aunt also has said that while she was house sitting, she heard people having a party upstairs. She was the only one in the house at the time. My sisters used to say, "The ghost lives in that room." Well, it's been 4 years since I have been in that house, and I am glad that I moved. Actually, it wasn't until after we moved that we learned one reason why the house could have been haunted. The new owner was trying to redecorate the house and decided to move a little pine tree in the front of the house. Underneath the pine tree, he found gravestones. They might have come from the cemetery that you can see from my old house, or it could have been that they were purposely put there. Who knows? Haunting activity. In her nan's old wartime house, Ashley hears phantom barks, feels touches, and sees shadow signs only she seems to notice. My name is Ashley, and my nan lives in a haunted wartime house in Cornwall. I am very attached to the house and its haunted nature. Here is my story. In 2004-2005, my nan moved into this big, beautiful, yellow World War I house, which we didn't know the history of. My nan had this Rottweiler named Def, whom we all loved very much. However, Def was just too big, so Nan gave Def to us. Unfortunately, Def suffered with seizured fits, and one violent attack killed him. Ever since Def's passing, I've heard padding paws behind me and a collar jingling. I've even heard a bark when no dogs were around. Also, I've had something jump onto my bed at night, then jump back off of it. I got used to that activity as it followed me to both my mom's and to Nan's homes. Just after moving in, my Nan's mother passed away, and that's when a lot more activity started. At first, we just dismissed it to be the taps dripping in the sinks or the bathroom window being left open. However, as time wore on, I was being touched, pulled, and I've even had my name called out once or twice. People think I'm making it up. Everybody except my granddad, who says I may be sensitive to ghosts, or even very possibly some kind of psychic. I am almost a teenager, and I have heard poltergeists normally bother people who are teenagers. I have also smelled tobacco smoke and saw shadows go across the room. I have no idea why this is happening to me and only me. We agree with Ashley's grandfather that perhaps she is more open to these experiences and able to perceive haunting activity. Haunted bedroom. A haunted room where lights flicker, voices whisper, and a ghostly figure lurks. When I was a little younger, say around 12, my sister and I shared a room. One morning, we were getting ready for school, and we had a curling iron and radio plugged in, and 2 lights on, our room light and a closet light. As we're sitting there, the radio shut off. This is incredibly odd, since neither of us touched it. So we just went and turned it back on, thinking maybe something just happened to it for a second or something. Then, after that, the curling iron shut off. So now this is getting strange. We turned it back on and were trying to finish as fast as possible when the closet light went out. That light has a history of burning out easily, but it wasn't burnt out. The light switch had been turned off. So we went to get my brother to tell him what had happened. And when we came back in the room, the radio and curling iron had been unplugged and the closet light turned off. That room must be haunted because my mother woke up in the same bedroom just years earlier to see a woman standing over her. I still live in that room, and it still scares the bejesus out of me. But that's just icing on the cake compared to some of the other things that have happened elsewhere in the house. My brother woke up at about 5 a.m. one morning to beat us to the shower. He was about to go into the laundry room when he heard someone saying his name. Chris, the voice would say. He thought it was our older sister, so he just said, "Knock it off, Val," and shrugged it off. Then, as he turned around, there were a pair of red eyes staring at him through the darkness. Then, just like that, they were gone. On another occurrence, I was home alone. I was on the computer in my mom's room typing. I looked at the screen and thought I saw what appeared to be a man, a very sad, angry-looking man, standing behind me. When I turned around to look, there was nobody there. My little sister claims to have seen the same man walking through our house at night, and I believe it, because you can hear something walking up and down our halls at night. My mother was in denial about it for years, but she finally had the house blessed 3 times, and it has done nothing. I just make do with the spirit, turning our stuff off, scaring us, and even worse yet, throwing our stuff around. Apparently, it doesn't want to go anywhere. Not all visitors from the other side come to scare. Like this video if you believe. Subscribe for more true stories. And tell us your experience in the comments.